Hey, good morning, folks. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. It is Thursday. It's 8:01 here on the East Coast. It's still cold. It was 19 degrees this morning when I came in, but it will warm up. Here's how you get in touch with the show, 706-889-9700. You can always call the show or text me if you'd like to be on the show. You can send me a text message, and that's a 24/7 number. Sorry, I got to turn the actual phone on so you can. And there's all the social media ways you can follow the show. Now, that being said, let's get started here. Yesterday, the outrage went, and I was so upset yesterday because when the legislator from Virginia, I forget her name, was being asked, and, you know, and she said, yes, the mother could be dilating and going into birth, the child going into birth. And you could still abort the child. So the Virginia governor, now, first of all, anybody that believes, I have said this on this show in the past, anybody that believes there's still a moderate, okay, there's still a moderate Democrat out there. Hopefully we're going to be able to take what that piece of garbage Andrew Cuomo did up in New York, governor of New York, signing his bill. Do you realize Cuomo even lit the top of the World Trade Center, the new World Trade Center building? He lit the top pink in congratulatory, you know, of the bill to murder children all the way to birth. Wow. No such thing. Now, let's keep in mind the bill in Virginia did fail. But listen to the governor in Virginia yesterday as he tried to answer the questions that was going viral over the internet yesterday. Go with that one, Josh, that video.
When Fairfax County Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion, even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure, and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you, first thing I would say, this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion.
There's not a single person in the world that supports that.
Do you think it got blown out of proportion, Governor Ralph Northam there in Virginia? Do you think it got blown out of proportion? The baby would be delivered, kept comfortable, okay? Now, somebody asked me yesterday, and I won't go into great detail, but somebody asked me yesterday, was there ever a time that I'm okay with abortion? And I can't answer directly when there's a time I'm okay with abortion, but I will answer there's a time when I feel the discussion belongs to the privacy of the family, okay, whatever the situation may be. There's a time I feel where that belongs to the privacy of the family, and I'm not getting into. I believe life starts at conception, and I believe there's a heartbeat, and I believe the good Lord has decided to wire us with a heartbeat to start and a heartbeat to end. Okay? Pretty simple as that. So when a heartbeat starts, it's going to keep beating until the good Lord decides that the heartbeat stops. That's my take on that. Now, this bill was defeated, all right? But I do think that now it has come full circle. You can't find 10%. Now, I'm going to use 10%. You can't find 10% of the country that agrees with what I call murdering an unborn child, okay? They're determining the disability. They're determining the viability of the fetus. Okay, and remember what Hitler did for the perfect. You know what Hitler wanted to do to create the perfect race. Just look it up. Just take time, look it up. The perfect race. Then go look up, take a time and look up with this outrage here, just take a minute and look up the beginning of Planned Parenthood and the intent on inner city black babies to discard them, the black race. Oh, just look it up. Don't take anything from me. I'm not asking you to take anything I say this morning. I'm only asking you to go do your own research. The founders of Planned Parenthood, dig deep there, okay? Hitler's perfect race, dig deep there, look it up. And do not, for any reason whatsoever, do not believe, okay, that there's a such thing as a moderate Democrat. There's no such thing. They are gone. They are finished, okay? This is a party that upholds murder of children. This is a party that upholds crime. This is a party that feels there should be no borders. There's nothing good in the DNC at this time that you can look to. So it has really become. Now this is something I don't want to spend all. We have Carla's Corner at 8:30. I don't want to spend all 30 minutes. But this is exactly why the Kavanaugh hearings looked and they acted and they treated them as they did is right here. And we have states, okay, that are setting up their abortion laws, preparing for the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, in my opinion, will not end Roe v. Wade. Will not, okay? But they will turn it back to the states. That's my opinion, okay? So look at what's happening out there, the murder of children. You know, I got upset yesterday, and let me say this, okay? Here in Georgia, we do not have a heartbeat bill, all right? And the representatives out there know who they are, okay? And I know some of the people that pull them around by the nose. And the heartbeat bill we don't have in Georgia, okay? And we claim every single time you get something in the mail, all right, from these politicians, they fight to see who's the most pro-life, okay? And I'm not telling you that Georgia has bad pro-life laws, okay, abortion laws. I'm not saying that. But we could go another step further with the heartbeat bill here in Georgia, all right? And yesterday I got upset because every time I turn on social media, there's a certain representative, not all, that will not shut up about constitutional carry. And although I believe in constitutional carry, and I believe in our right to bear arms, and I do say, well, you know, it's kind of rough that we have to go down and pay somebody for our constitutional right to get a permit to exercise our constitutional right, although I'm with you for the most part. I just wish you would take the time to blast some of this stuff out here when it comes to abortion as you are with constitutional carry. I've just had it with having to hear that 7 days a week here in Georgia, like the world's going to end if we don't have constitutional carry. But there's no representative stepping up and wanting to for the sanctity of life. Now, all right. So Josh, let me find a picture. That did fail. All right, and we had to do some things backwards here this morning. Sorry about that, but we had to do some things here that are a little different. We are doing a basketball tournament. Josh, give me the one there that I sent over. It says, Trump says Paul Ryan to fund the wall. And there's about 3 of those. Let's go with Paul Ryan fund the wall. You can go with any one of them and try to keep them in line. You know which ones I want? Go ahead and pull one up there. Great, I have no glasses. Can't see across the room. Trump says he will. No. That doesn't say Paul Ryan. Sorry, folks at home. We weren't able to number it. All right. All of them that pertain to Paul Ryan. I want to go through those. So, if you are new to the show, I have said over how long, a great period of time, what Paul Ryan was not doing, okay? During the shutdown, I said, well, we're talking about something, okay? I cannot read that across the room, but Paul Ryan, okay, promised the President of the United States, former Speaker of the House, promised him, okay? And I said on this show, did the President get duped? And I hate to put it that way. And there's some things about the government that Trump has to hope that these people are not stabbing him in the back. And Ryan went to him and said, look, if you pass this omnibus bill, all right? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, it is not hard to figure out why the Republicans do not have the purse strings. And no, I'm not happy with Nancy Pelosi having the purse strings. Okay? But it is not hard. I go all the way back to the start of this show, and I said over and over, when the Republicans got control of the House and the Senate, did they learn their lesson, or would they treat it like Dennis Hastert and Fisk? Fisk? Is it Fisk? Senator Fisk was the majority leader in the Senate. Would they treat it that way? Would they just spend like, George Bush's first 2 years? Or did they learn their lesson? And for some reason, Republicans or Democrats, they just spend in different ways, but they never learn their lesson because they don't care, folks. They don't care about the debt. They get what they want, okay? If this thing collapses, called the United States of America during your grandchildren's time, they got what they wanted. They could say what they want. They're that selfish. They're that evil. They're that ruthless. They'll get what they want. Now, we all remember that Boehner put the omnibus bill. Now, think about this, folks. When Trump comes out and he says this, okay, exclusive, Trump says Paul Ryan reneged on deal to fund wall for omnibus signature. Okay? Who did John Boehner and Paul Ryan make sure they had every single thing they wanted in their budget, funded everything, and made sure they got all the way through their administration? Barack Hussein Obama. John Boehner went and passed an enormous omnibus bill. Okay, then he had an omnibus bill sitting on the desk, all right? And that's what we heard out here in America. And Paul Ryan came, and he was supposed to be our fiscal hawk. And remember when he was with Mitt Romney and he's running for office, he's our fiscal hawk. Well, he's a fiscal conservative. We were happy to have Paul Ryan because we had a conservative, fiscal conservative here, right? Well, Paul Ryan becomes Speaker of the House, and he blows up the budget and the debt. And what does he come and tell the American people? It was on my desk when I got there. It was baked in the cake. The cake was on my desk. There was no way I could start over. There was no way I could send it back to appropriations. Folks, we have so many. Why do you think the government shutdown was a partial shutdown? Because they can pull different appropriations out anytime they want. Anytime they want. They just come and slam all these appropriations bills together, call it an omnibus, and get a signature and move on and go skiing. So Ryan gave Obama everything he wanted all the way through to the end. So Donald Trump becomes president of the United States. They knew they were not repealing Obamacare. They knew they would not make it happen. Trust me, I don't care what the Republican House did. I don't care about the ceremony on the South Lawn, on the Rose Garden. I don't care. They knew that when it got in the Senate that it would nosedive. They knew that, the Republicans. And Trump could have had his money for border security. The biggest campaign promise, and you think a Republican, the biggest campaign promise the President of the United States made to the American people was to build a wall. Now, everybody keeps yelling, okay, about he said Mexico would pay for the wall. And I said early on in my show, you know what? They'll never be happy until, they see the big check from Mexico that says, USA, $29 billion, and there's a picture of the big check presentation. You and I both know that was never the way it was going to happen. Now, the President of the United States, the disastrous, they don't talk about the disastrous NAFTA trade bill. The president renegotiated a trade bill with Canada and Mexico that gives an enormous change to the dollars, the value of what Mexico has to pay to get into this country, or what we are going to increase in revenue through the New Deal that was when they scrapped NAFTA. So Paul Ryan takes the biggest campaign promise the President of the United States makes. And Paul Ryan can put billions of dollars in anything at any time. But Paul Ryan goes to the White House, this is my opinion, and he says, sign the omnibus bill. Remember I told you. Remember Trump came out after he signed that omnibus bill, and I cringed, and he said, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. It won't happen again. And he didn't. So Ryan comes up and says, hey, here's what you need to do. You need to sign this omnibus bill, right? And after you sign this bill, let's get through the midterms, and then I'll get you your wall, your money for your wall. Well, Ryan knew he was never going to give the President of the United States the money for the border security. He knew it. You and I knew that Ryan lied all along. Now, obviously, this coincides with, give me the, you got a picture over there, and I'm sorry, I wasn't able to send Josh the pictures numbered this morning based on some things happening with my computer. All right. Give me the one from CNN that says Foxconn changes plans for a Wisconsin plant. And it's CNN, and it's the President of the United States. That's fine. All right, find another one I have there. But wait a minute. Foxconn changes plans for Wisconsin plant. The media is salivating over this morning. That Foxconn, a Taiwan company, has decided that they're going to change the direction they're going. They're not going to do all the jobs. It's going to be more of a scientific research center with some higher end jobs and not so much production like they originally thought. Now, I'm not for sure what happened here, but remember when the deal went down with Foxconn that Scott Walker was at that time the governor of Wisconsin, okay, the governor of Wisconsin. And second, now we have the new governor, the Democrat, I forget his name, of Wisconsin. And Trump did a lot of bragging about this plant because this company came and said, look, if you give us, was it $4 billion worth of incentives, we're going to come in here and we're going to build this plant and it's going to employ thousands of people. And Trump said it's going to be like the eighth wonder of the world. It's beautiful. And give me another one that says that on there. Foxconn changes plans. There it is. He was out there. Foxconn changes plans in Wisconsin. So between Paul Ryan and Foxconn, the media is so happy that there's a possibility, all right, possibility of, hold a second. The media, there's a possibility of, taking Wisconsin out of the pocket there for the president in 2020. I want to go back here. Trump says Paul Ryan reneged on the deal once he went lame duck, it was just really an exercise in waving to people and the power was gone. So I was very disappointed. I was very disappointed in Paul because the wall was so desperately needed, and I'll get the wall one way or another. Now, a couple things, other things that are happening today. Let me pull this up. GOP, the intel community. So President Trump, you go ahead and take that one down. If you find anything that says intelligence community or intelligence or CIA or whatever, you can put that up, Josh. The intel community and Trump, they're not on the same page. And this is if you ever thought that somebody was stepping into the deep state swamp, this is it. Trump seething at intel chiefs. If you ever thought for 1 minute that the President of the United States went to Washington, D.C. to drain the swamp, do you realize this is probably the first president, and I can't remember since when, that actually had the nerve to rebuke or talk about the CIA, talk about the FBI, talk about the intelligence community? Folks, I'm not going to sit here this morning and tell you how bad Gina Haspel is, how bad Dan Coates is. But the intel community comes to Iran, North Korea. What has the intel community got now that for 24 years, the failed policies in North Korea? 24 years. I go back all the way to Clinton and George W. and Barack Obama, 3 times 8, 24 years of failed policy in North Korea. All right. They say that Kim Jong-un wants to keep his nukes. All right. Possible. Iran, ISIS. So what do you think? You think Gordo or whatever his name is in Venezuela may be the new propped up CIA? Might have went down there and propped him up. It might be who they're telling Trump is going to now run Venezuela. Folks, you need to do your research. I don't have time to do it all, but you know what? It's not the end of the world. The GOP poised to rebuke Trump. This is out this morning from the Hill. Frustrated Republicans, it's time for the Senate to reclaim more power over foreign policy and are planning to move a measure Thursday, today, that would be a stunning rebuke to the president of their own party. GOP lawmakers are deeply concerned over President Trump's reluctance to listen to senior military and intelligence advisors, fearing it could erode national security. They say the Senate has lost too much of its constitutional power over shaping the nation's foreign policy and argue that it's time to begin clawing some of it back. Powers over foreign policy has shifted to the executive branch over the last 30 years. Many of us in the Senate want to start taking it back, said Republican Senator closely allied with Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. Over the last 30 years, we've had three very, very, very deep state. Think about the last 30 years, who has been the presidents, who has been held the executive office there, all right, in the last 30 years. And they want to claw it back from Trump and take the power away from him because he doesn't, what do they say, kowtow, kiss up to the intelligence community for everything. President's getting an intel briefing today. We'll see what happens. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office. We're North Georgia's only live online morning show. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Carla's Corner.